So let me be very clear with our American neighbors. If you hit us, we will hit back. Our retaliation will be dollar for dollar, and it is going to really hurt because Canada has leverage. The only impact is going to be higher prices at the checkout counter in the grocery store, higher prices when Americans fill their cars up with gas, and Americans are going to lose their jobs. American businesses are going to go broke. As the Wall Street Journal has said, this is just dumb. Glad to be back here at Stelco. There's a lot of people I was talking to who I've met 2, 3, 4 times in the past. We were together in 2018 when President Trump did impose tariffs on our steel and aluminum, and we got through it and we won. And I am here to assure people who work here that that is going to happen again. You can hear how quiet it is here right now because already the uncertainty is having an impact. And I think it is so important for us as Canadians to say to the great steel workers here in Canada and at steel mills across the country that you are a fundamental industry for us. We know how important you are. We know how excellent your work is, and we are going to support you. The threat of tariffs, the threat of illegal and unjustified tariffs is looming, and we see the impact already here on the factory floor. I have been so heartened and encouraged by the conversations I've had here this morning. People here at Stelco, they remember that the last time around, President Trump actually carried out his threat. He did impose tariffs on Canada's steel and aluminum in 2018. I was in charge of fighting back. We did fight back. We responded with dollar for dollar retaliation, and it worked. A few months later, the U.S. unilaterally lifted the tariffs. And so Canadian steelworkers, Stelco, and I, we've been through this before. We know how to win. We did win. And we know that the relationship between Canada and the United States is mutually beneficial and balanced. And that's why, as long as we are united, strong, and smart, and under my leadership, we will be, we're going to get through this. The United Steelworkers across the border, and get them to speak out as they did at the beginning of February, speak out to the White House and point out that these tariffs are just a bad idea. As the Wall Street Journal has said, this is just dumb. And so I just want to say to everyone here at Stelco, to every steelworker across the country, and to every single Canadian, we can get through this. If the U.S. hits us, we will hit back. Canada is going to be united, strong, and smart, and we're going to get a good deal at the end. We're going to win just like we did last time. Thank you very much. So if you'll forgive me, I don't think that question is quite precise. I know Scott Bessent well. I knew him from my former life as the U.S. managing editor of the Financial Times in New York. He is smart, and he has been talking about a Fortress North America approach. I think that could be a really promising off-ramp for the United States. You're quite right in your question to point out that Canada has recognized prior to the election, under my lead as finance minister, that Chinese overcapacity harms Canada. And as Prime Minister, I will be sure that the U.S. administration recognizes what we have done. Now, what I believe Secretary Bessent was talking about is a policy of working together going forward and working together so that the economies of North America, Canada, the U.S., and Mexico could act as a united front when it comes to Chinese overcapacity. From my perspective, that could make a lot of sense. Chinese overcapacity is an issue we've recognized in the past and something I would act on. And having a shared North American response would secure the shared economic perimeter of the NAFTA countries. And let me be very, very clear. Our sovereignty is not up for negotiation. We will never give in to economic coercion. We are the true north, strong and free. And I heard that from very many of the workers here at Stelco, an absolute, I'm going to say iron, maybe steely determination to stand for Canada and fight for Canada, and I share that.
There's an estimated 25,000 people in Hamilton who are employed by the steel industry. Does your government have any plans to protect these Hamilton steel jobs?
Absolutely. And I really want to say job one here is to fight the tariffs. Job one is to act urgently and with strength to get the U.S. not to move forward. And I do want Canadians to understand, as people here at Stelco do, we can win this. We will win this. This is not the first time we've faced tariffs on our steel. It happened in 2018. Our response was strong, dollar for dollar retaliation. And if we are united, strong, and smart, which under my leadership as Prime Minister, we sure will be, we will get through this and we will get back to a balanced, mutually beneficial relationship with the U.S. Today is the day to be driving that message home with our American partners, to get people in the U.S. to be calling up the White House and saying, this is a really dumb idea. Don't do this. There is no reason to have a trade war with Canada. So the critical thing right now is for us not to be intimidated. The way that President Trump negotiates is by creating maximum chaos and maximum intimidation. We need to be united, strong, and smart. We need to be resolute. We need to recognize that with this White House, weakness is a provocation and capitulation is not a negotiating strategy. So let me be very clear with our American neighbors. If you hit us, we will hit back. Our retaliation will be dollar for dollar, and it is going to really hurt because Canada has leverage. We are the largest market for the U.S. We are larger than China, Japan, the UK, and France combined. So just one Canada, one Canadian Prime Minister standing by herself can have more impact on your economy than the leaders of those four great countries. And you need to know we're going to use that leverage. The only impact is going to be higher prices at the checkout counter in the grocery store, higher prices when Americans fill their cars up with gas, and Americans are going to lose their jobs. American businesses are going to go broke. So this tariff war is a really dumb idea.